All right. Well, I can try to talk. I guess I can start by saying good evening, everyone. It's Terraquator. I know it's Sunday. Been a while since I've done anything. I've been out of sorts. A lot of it, of course, being that I'm just trying to figure out how to go about doing these videos all the time without the sobriety goal being there anymore and the whole day counter. It's an adjustment, and I guess I just needed some time. It's just I don't like the idea of taking time because then I'm just going to get myself out of that loop and not want to be doing stuff. But we did have a few things that happened last week. I am trying to get the house more cleaned up, trying to get Buttercup and Sweet Pea's room taken care of a little better because they have too much stuff. But I don't know how to talk about this, but I'm just going to come out and say a little bit because I've needed time to process this. But my uncle died last week. Unfortunately, it's complicating on my dad's side of the family, so I'm not going into too many details. It's not that we didn't get along. It's that I never had the opportunity to physically meet this uncle. I was trying to get to the point where I'd be able to, but he died last week, and it wasn't anything like cancer, sickness, or anything like that. No, he got hit by a car, and it does suck. I haven't been able to figure out the best words for consoling my father about the situation because that was his younger brother. And well, for one, I don't know how to talk about these things because it is family, and it's not the easiest talking to my family about strenuous situations is the lightest way of putting it. But what happened last week is he was just crossing a street at a crosswalk, and someone hit him with someone hit him with their car. That's about the most we know. Didn't get any information about the driver or anything like that, so I don't know. And a lot of that is because I know my family isn't the best at communicating. And for this situation, I understand because my coping mechanism for stressful situations is to overthink every logical possibility there is on a situation, like the how, why, what, when, those kinds of details. I usually think on those as much as I can, so I stop thinking about the emotional side of things. But it also hits on a different personal level because I don't even like bringing it up because it almost seems selfish, but I walk everywhere too. So I guess I'm similar with my uncle like that. He didn't own a car. I don't own a car. We walk everywhere. And I can't tell you how many times last year alone, I was nearly struck by vehicles of drivers who just aren't paying attention or are being downright malicious because, well, let's face it, there are an increasing number of people out there who do not like pedestrians or cyclists, who say that, pedestrians are entitled. Well, there are people out there who obey the rules of the road. I wait at crosswalks. I wait for cross signals. And I'm constantly looking around, but there's always someone who just comes out of a blind spot or just whips around a corner and will haul A. And I, no less than 7 times last year, I literally had to jump out of the way of a driver who, a few of them weren't paying attention, like they were texting on their phone. And there are a few people who, as they do it, they're flipping you off like, hey, you need to get out of the road. It's like, I'm at a crosswalk. I don't jaywalk. I use crosswalks because I know there are too many impatient drivers out there. And well, the most I know is that my uncle was hit at an intersection. And I don't want to go into further details from that in case, there's anything listed anywhere. And it's barely even my business. It's mostly between my father and my other uncle. And of course my late uncle's family. It's mostly for them to reconcile. But I'm not happy about what happened. It was too obviously one of those. It's too soon. But more than anything, the most emotion I've been feeling over this, the more I think on it, is anger. I'm definitely angry about this situation because I've known way too many drivers who say, I'm in a 1,200 pound plus vehicle. It's your job to stay out of my way. And while they drive further and further to where pedestrians and cyclists need to be, and while they're saying, you need to get out of my way. And I've personally known people like that, and it bothers me to no end that the level of entitlement of a driver who has an entire freaking road to drive still feel necessary to encroach on the little space pedestrians have. Like, believe it or not, my city barely has any sidewalks. Like, there's part of one at the corner of my house. They just put in a partial sidewalk over on the main road down this way. They just put in some sidewalk there, but again, it's not an entire road. It's only for this specific area of a shopping center. That's about it. And there's not much more than that. And yet still crossing areas like New Year's Eve. Was it New Year's Eve or was it Christmas Eve? No, it was Christmas Eve. Just being in a parking lot of a gas station, I had to get some stuff for Lilia that night. And the same driver almost hit me twice. And both times I had to jump out of her way because she wasn't even looking in front of her. So I know how incredibly frustrating this situation is, where we still have to dive out of the way because people don't pay attention. Then they get mad at you because they almost hit you. And once again, an impatient, entitled driver has killed a family member. So I'm mad. I don't know how to go about sugarcoating that or using friendlier words, but if you're an impatient driver and you nearly strike someone with your car, God forbid you hit someone with your car, you shouldn't have a driver's license anymore. It should be revoked because you are a risk to the road. More drivers, they keep making cars safer and safer and safer for the drivers. And, when accidents happen, yet driver fatalities keep growing because the more safe people feel in their cars, the more reckless they become, and they have too many things to distract themselves with. If you were too distracted to pay attention to the road, you shouldn't be on the road. It's what did pilots used to call that? Being behind the curve or something like that? Like the awareness curve, where they have to slow down and reassess, and you're like, okay, I can't be out here anymore. I don't know all the terms, but if you're too distracted on the road to where you're starting to make too many mistakes, get off the road. This isn't the only person I've known who has lost their life to, being hit by vehicles. There have been, DUI incidents, victims of course, I did have I only learned this a few months ago. I did have a cousin who, I guess he was in a DUI situation and it was him. So I can only blame him, but he overturned his vehicle and he drowned. but he was drinking and driving. And drinking and driving is the first things. Like, you should never have your license again. If you're pulled over for a DUI, Lord forbid you hit someone, are in an accident during a DUI, you should not be allowed to ever drive again. I'm not going to beat around the bush on that one. I don't see why people who are this inconsiderate and selfish and willing to put other people in harm's way have the ability to keep their licenses. I mean, I was just on X today, and people were complaining that apparently, like, this is talking about something like Justin Timberlake or something like that got his third DUI or something like that, and he was swerving all over the place. Is what I briefly read. I can't find the tweet right now or the post because I was just quickly doom scrolling. But if you have a DUI, no, take the bus from now on, because you obviously do not have a mind to think twice. Lives are at risk the moment you get behind that wheel and you're drinking. And if you're too impatient and you're too selfish and you say it's your job to stay out of my way, no, you shouldn't have a driver's license either. A driver's license is a privilege. It is not a right, but you are 100% responsible when you get behind that wheel. And if you don't have the responsibility to be mindful on the road and you hit someone, you should never drive again. I'm right mad about this. I've nearly lost my life last year to impatient and drivers who just don't pay attention, and I'm the one who has to pay attention. I'm the one jumping out of the way because others don't. And now I've lost a family member over it. So yeah, I'm mad. I apologize for not having anything glamorous. I didn't want to go into VR for anything like this. It's, the whole concept of time and place. But other people, be safe out there. Pay attention to what you're doing. Stay off your phone when you're driving. Just stay off your phone. If you need to fiddle fart with your radio because you want to change it because you hear a commercial or you don't hear a song you like, pull over. If you can't keep your eyes on the road, don't be on the road. If you can't pay attention to your surroundings, don't be on the road. It should be that simple, but it never is because people don't think. They don't think twice. They don't think about other people. They think about only themselves. As a driver, it is your responsibility to think beyond just yourself and your selfish butt. I'm not mincing words on that one. I'm mad. I'll never get to meet my uncle. I wanted to as soon as I wanted to have that opportunity when I got myself on my feet and, started making a better living for myself and my family. I wanted to be able to meet the family I never had the opportunity to meet, and now that's gone. Because someone decided to be selfish and entitled. Anyway, that's, I guess you could call it a partial PSA of don't be a dick on the road. And I'm not going to count that as a curse word because it's not naughty enough. But yeah, I'm just dealing with that. And the more I talk about it, the more I get frustrated about the whole situation. So it kind of makes sense. And anyway, I don't like being a downer, but that has been the revelation of last week is drivers suck. Drivers often suck. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll talk again. I'm going to try my best to get back into videos again and keep my spirits up and my focus or whatever going. But tonight, I'm just going to take it easy. I want everyone to take care of themselves. If you have to deal with the road, be mindful of your surroundings and stay off your phone. Please. This is Terra Quator. We'll see everyone around.